Hello, my name is Addison, and my project is on the Arctic tundra. The Arctic tundra is usually located in places of very high latitude, which are the northern edges of Alaska, Canada, Scandinavia, and Russia. But today I'm only going to be covering the northern edges of Alaska and Canada, which are in this region right around here. Alright? Because usually the tundra is located in the North Pole, which winters are very cold and dark, which I said is in the, because that's why it's in the top north edges. Because, anyways, which winters are very cold and dark. Because of the very harsh temperatures, the soil is very poor, and this means it only consists of very low vegetation, which you can see in this picture right here. The grass looks very dead. You can see the snow around it. But there's really no sense of life when it comes to grass. And here's another picture right here, showing how snow is mostly taken out, majority of it. Let's just get rid of this. All right. Because the biome has such harsh temperatures, the soil underground is frozen, and this is known as permafrost. However, in the summer, ice in the soil partially melts, producing many insects and animals that come to the tundra. One animal that comes to the tundra is known as the caribou, which is right here and right here. It's obviously kind of like a reindeer. Caribou often migrate to the tundra in the summer to reproduce. They adapted to the tundra by their thick coats of fur and their wide hoofs, which allows them to move across the muddy snow. However, even though with this thick coat of fur and their hoofs that they've adapted, they still cannot withstand the harsh temperatures that the tundra consists of. But there are many animals that can, that we'll get to later, like the polar bear and the ox. Moving on. Now, here's some non-renewable resources that is very well known in the tundra. They're mostly underground materials, it can consist of oil, uranium, magnesium, and other different type of ores, like diamonds. Some renewable resources are sunlight, wood, and ice. However, there is an ecological footprint that is a problem in the tundra. And that's because many of the industrial leaders really are looking for the diamonds and the oils and all the other materials, but they set up drilling operations, which results in air pollution, to which many lichens are lost, which also cause the death of many animals and plants. But the thing is, the drilling operations are not the only thing that's harming the tundra. There's many other things, like the overhunting of animals, like polar bears and caribou. Construction of pipelines in the search for oil, which results in habitat fragmentation. As well as building roads, which cause heat melting the permafrost. The government have been attempting many things to help the tundra, and that would be establishing park reserves to protect habitat and animals, and banning the construction of roads protecting the soil of the tundra. You may think because the soil is so bad there that it'll help it, but many animals are very unable to adapt to such temperatures like that, when the everfrost leaves. Alright. Now, one animal that I really thought stick out from the rest is known as the polar bear. And if you can see right here, its niche is eating fish, walrus, and seal. Its habitat is usually found in ice floes of Alaska and Canada. And one adaptation it made is a thick coat of fur that allows it to stay warm. Other things would be paws that would adapt to get through the snow and all that. Now you can see here, obviously the polar bear is in the top of the food chain, right next to the Arctic fox and the Golden gull, which these can obviously be related to many other things like predation, mutualism, and commensalism, and competition. How predation comes into hand is that if you can see, the polar bear is at the very top of the food chain like many other predators. Whoops, let's just move this over. Now, an example of mutualism and commensalism is that mutualism and commensalism are basically when two other animals help each other, like, to get food, but no one gets hurt. This is how I view, like, this would happen is, like, say if you can see, a polar bear might kill a ringed seal, but leave it some meat on it. So that will be able for the Arctic fox to come in and like and take the rest of the meat for its children. And then competition would be an example of the polar bear and the Arctic fox, like, racing to see who could get to the seal first. Now, if you can see here, the biodiversity is very weak in this diagram. Because of the harsh temperatures, there are fewer than 40 species in the tundra, which consist of things like rodents, wolves, bears, foxes, and deer who were able to adapt to the harsh temperatures. Now, getting back to the polar bear, we're going through the reproduction and limiting factors of the polar bear. The polar bear usually reproduces around mid-spring and early summer. The average reproduction is usually around 2 cubs. Cubs are normally born in November and do not see the surface for a very long time due to hibernation. Some limiting factors that, like, the polar bears really face is known as global warming, which basically because of the heat is coming over from where we are, and it's pretty much melting the tundra, which making it pretty much impossible for a polar bear to find food because usually the polar bear meets many animals, like, on the ice, like, say seals, walruses, and because, like, that won't be there anymore, he'll have no way of getting to it. So as sad as it is, it might starve to death. And we'll watch a video later on how, like, global warming is affecting the tundra in general. Now time to move on to the Earth's spheres. The biosphere is known as the top layer where many different organisms meet, so which is basically where the polar bear is. The lithosphere is the active layer of the diagram. So you can see it's right here, underneath, above the permafrost. And the geosphere is between the active layer and the telic, which means it would be the permafrost, which, as I said, it was when it's the soil, like, adapting and freezing over from all the ice in the area. Alright, moving on. Now here's some biotic and abiotic factors of the tundra. Some biotic factors would be like polar bears, crustaceans, Gallagher's gull, and small trees. Some abiotic factors would be like ice, snow, oxygen, and mountains. Some different type of landforms that are usually found in the tundra are bumpy ground and frost boil. These may seem very similar at first, but you can see how they're different. For an example, the bumpy ground is mainly bodies of water or rocks that naturally freezing and thawing, just over and over again and they'll create, like, really tiny hills. And then frost boils is mostly just little fragments of stone that the exact same process, thawing and cooling, thawing and cooling until it finally reaches the same thing. Alright, now here's the video.